What's up, everyone? I hope everyone's having a great day. This is Gilberto Torres Jr. with Torres Boxing, and I wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on Miguel Berchelt's dominant victory over Francisco Vargas yesterday night on ESPN. It was an exciting, action-packed fight, just as it was billed and promoted out to be. It lived up to it, and it went halfway. Miguel Berchelt stopped Vargas in the sixth round. Well, it was in between rounds. What happened was that uh, Vargas's trainer Joel Diaz went ahead in between rounds while Vargas is in the corner between round 6 and 7. Joel Diaz decided to call off the fight. He thought that Vargas was just taking too much punishment and that there was just no way that he could, come back into this fight. And so, in my opinion, that was probably the best and wisest decision of the night by Joel Diaz, because I think that the damage that Vargas was sustaining was accumulating, was increasing with every passing minute of the fight. Look, I love Francisco Vargas, and I'm a big fan of his. And I remember his wars with Orlando Salido, Takashi Mira. So he's an action-packed fighter, and I think that's why a lot of people have gravitated to him, because he provides fan-friendly fights. Coming into this fight with Miguel Berchelt, I favored Berchelt to win for various reasons. He's younger, 27 years old. He's stronger. He's in the prime of his career. He's at his physical prime. He's a seasoned champion now with 4 successful consecutive title defenses. So he had a lot of advantages coming into this fight, and Berchelt is seemingly getting better with each passing fight. And that's why I favored him to win. Not to say that I didn't think Vargas was capable of pulling off the upset, because I do think that he's got a warrior mentality. He showed it tonight. He's shown it throughout his career that he's a warrior, that he'll lay his life on the line. He'll put everything on the line to try to win inside that ring. And so when you have a fighter like that has, that mentality that they're willing to give everything just to win, and comes in there to fight, I think that's a dangerous opponent, and that's exactly what Vargas is. Even though he may not be the same fighter that he was a few years ago, he's still a dangerous opponent. And that's why, I thought that there was a possibility there. It wouldn't have been shocking to me had Vargas pulled off the win, simply because of his warrior mentality and heart. But it was evident coming into this fight that he was more shot-born than Berchelt is. Berchelt, like I mentioned, he's in the prime of his career, and he's getting better with every passing fight. Vargas, on the other hand, was coming, yes, with 2 fights on a 2-fight winning streak against Steven Smith and Rod Salka, but he was also coming off of a long 13-month layoff, which, arguably could have worked to his benefit, because as an older fighter, as the commentators mentioned, sometimes you do need that rest. After you've been fighting consistently for so many years, sometimes a nice little layoff will help you recover, get rest, and get rejuvenated again. And, so that's not really a big factor in this, but what is a factor, I believe, are those fights that took a toll on Vargas. For example, before he met Miguel Berchelt in their initial meeting back in January 2017, Vargas was already coming off of 2 brutal wars against Takashi Mira and Orlando Salido. In both of those fights took something out of him. And, they say that not every fighter gets into a war. Not every fighter will experience the type of fights that Vargas has experienced in his career, because these type of fights, they take a toll on you. They take years off of your career. And when you're 34, for example, as Vargas is, you could be young, but at the same time, you could be old. Why? Because those fights take years off of your career. It happened with Brandon Rios. It's happened with Mike Alvarado. It's happened with other fighters that, they're young, but they've been involved in wars, And by the time they're 30, 33, or young in the eyes of everyone, they're old. Why? Because their bodies have taken a toll. And so I remember, watching that Orlando Salido post-fight interview with Vargas, and these guys had welts in their head. They were a mess. They were just exchanging blows for 12 long, brutal rounds. And I remember as he's leaving the interview, he's giving a thumbs up to the crowd, and Vargas's hand is just shaking uncontrollably. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, this guy went through something. This is not an ordinary fight. This is not a fight that just, went the distance or whatever. And yeah, every fight is dangerous, but this is not just your typical fight. This is a fight that took something out of him, that really took a toll on him. And, that's the type of fights that Vargas has been in. So when he came into that first fight with Miguel Berchelt, he was coming off of those two fights. And again, with Berchelt, he gets into the same fight. Another war. This time, though, he's kind of on the receiving end. He's not necessarily giving too much. He's not the one. It's not really, for most of the fight, it's evened out. But for the most part, Berchelt is dominating in that fight, too. So Vargas is sustaining damage. He gets cut up. He gets, stopped. The referee intervenes and he calls it off. It's a TKO victory for Berchelt, who gets the WBC super featherweight crown. And Vargas, suffers his first career loss. And, that's another battle that he went through. So coming into this fight, Vargas is a little bit shot worn. He's taken he's taken a lot of damage. He's got a lot of mileage. So coming into this fight, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see how would he react. I felt like there was only going to be two ways. That if Berchelt won, it was going to be one of two ways. One, he's going to stop Vargas by KO or TKO, and that it would be brutal. Or second, I felt that Vargas might, when he starts feeling the pressure, because with Rod Salka and Steven Smith, those were not battles or anything like that. Those were fights in which Vargas really dominated and he did his thing and he beat them convincingly. But Berchelt's of a different fiber. He's a different caliber fighter. So coming into this fight, I said, one, Berchelt wins by stopping Vargas dead in his tracks, because Vargas is a type of fighter that will go out on his shield because he's a warrior. He's a fighter at heart. Or Vargas, as soon as he starts feeling the pressure and starts to see that another war is about to ensue, another war is about to unravel, then maybe he would have said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this again. His mind, his body could have told him, what, not today. But clearly that didn't happen. What happened was that over the course of 6 rounds, Berchelt was landing solid combinations. He started to do some great work to the body. Man, I'm surprised that Vargas, stayed up from some of those body shots. You could see Berchelt's power when he would land some hooks and he would literally move Vargas. He would push him just by the velocity of those punches and the power. But Vargas, again, is a warrior. He kept coming, applying pressure, and trying to get into the pocket, because that's where he was most effective with his punch output. That's where he was landing some of his major punches that wooed the crowd and made me and others feel like, hey, maybe he's really gonna do this. But in the end, Berchelt's the better fighter. He's stronger, and all those attributes that those advantages that he had coming into the fight, they were on full display. And that led to him capturing the victory, the TKO. So that was an impressive win by Berchelt, who looked like he was getting stronger as the fight uh, continued on. He looked like with every passing round, he was getting more confident. He was, he had already tasted Vargas's power and felt that it wasn't enough that could really pose a threat to him. So he was, throwing a lot more punches. He was letting his hands go more often. And again, that body work was, really starting to add up to Vargas. So it was a very fun fight, action-packed fight, which, only went 6 rounds. But for those 6 rounds, you're on the edge of your seat and you're enjoying these two warriors go at it. And again, at the end of the fight, I just love seeing when fighters can embrace each other and respect each other for what they did. They put their lives on the line against each other. Everyone, even though the arena could be packed, but these fighters respect each other because they know that at the end of the day, it's them two inside that ring, risking their lives for glory, for a world title, for pride, because of their fight, because they're fighters at heart. So I respect both fighters, and I wouldn't have been mad had Francisco Vargas won. And again, I'm not mad that Berchelt won. These are two of my favorite fighters, and they're very exciting to watch. And Berchelt, congratulations to him. He's now on to bigger and better things. He'll look to see what's next. I know that he says he wants to unify against the winner of Ito Herring, which is an upcoming fight. He's also mentioned that he'd be open to fighting Vasil Lomachenko, pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world today. He'd presumably have to move up 5 pounds north to lightweight to meet high tech at the lightweight division. So we'll see what happens, but that's going to be a big fight. And I'm very excited about what's to come. Vargas, on the other hand, a tough loss, but as the commentators mentioned as well, his activity level was impressive. It was good against any other fighter. He would have had a great night. Against any other fighter, the activity that he displayed on Saturday night would have been impressive and would have defeated any other fighter. But this was Miguel Berchelt, who's at the apex of his career. He's prime, and so it wasn't enough against El Alacran Miguel Berchelt. So we'll see what's next for Vargas. Retirement, could be a possibility. You never know. Maybe if he feels it in his heart that he just doesn't have what it takes to compete at this high level anymore, maybe he'll consider retirement. If not, then he'll continue to fight. But hopefully, he's doing all right and he can recover from the cuts that he sustained. But guys, thank you. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the fight. What do you think is next for both fighters? And remember to subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon and visit TorresBoxing.com and Instagram at TorresBoxing, guys. Till next time, God bless you and have a great rest of your day.